I'm Mahalit Tajin, and I'm an artist advocate for Healing Tree. You may know me from NBC's New Amsterdam. I want to welcome all of you to our 6th annual Ungala Stars Come Out to Support Healing Tree. We're so glad you're here. To those watching on Facebook, we'd love to see your reactions and comments, and we'll be interacting with you throughout the night. So please hit that share button and invite your friends to join us. This is going to be an amazing event. You can also help us spread the word by tagging us in your status updates, as well as your photos and videos throughout the night. We'll be at Healing Tree on Facebook and at HealingTree.org on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to use the hashtag #HTUngala. We know that the ongoing pandemic has been so difficult for so many of us in ways we anticipated, and in many ways we couldn't have even imagined. That's why we're here, to share our message of hope now more than ever. And so, our lineup of stars tonight is incredible. It includes familiar faces from hit television shows like Breaking Bad and FBI, as well as amazing Broadway productions from shows like Motown the Musical and Hamilton. If you get connectivity issues during this amazing lineup and your stream freezes for whatever reason, just hit the refresh button and we'll still be here. If you can, the best way to watch our event is on a TV. You can stream it from the YouTube app by finding our channel, youtube.com//c/healingtree.org. You can also head on over to healingtreenonprofit.org/Ungala for further instructions. But definitely keep your smartphones handy because you can bid in our online auction and donate right from your phone or computer if you prefer. We want to thank all of our sponsors for making tonight possible, as well as our programming throughout the year. Poison Fruit Productions, Meteora, Aetna, Humana, Emergence Law, the Institute for Creative Mindfulness, MJ Kinman Textile Artist, Ann Coffey and Julie Val Jones, and Jessica Mastro. We couldn't do our life-saving work without you. Thank you. You'll be hearing more about everything Healing Tree does throughout the night, but this short video is a great way to get introduced to who we are, what we do, and why it's so important.
Healing Tree stands for Healing Trauma Resources, Education, and Empowerment. We advocate healing from abuse and trauma rather than coping with the symptoms in order to transform lives and ultimately society. We achieve this by providing trauma-focused resources and education, and by producing and partnering with relevant film, television, and theater, empowering the social change necessary to create a healing movement. Currently, there's a big knowledge gap between the world's leading trauma experts and professionals across fields, as well as the public at large, on this issue that affects so many of us. This lack of understanding is keeping people unwell unnecessarily and spreading the problem. In its most basic definition, trauma occurs when one's capacity to cope is overwhelmed. It can happen from one large event or several small events. While we focus on healing interpersonal trauma, such as abuse, the methods we promote can also help people who have survived war, accidents, and natural disasters. More than 1 in 3 women and more than 1 in 4 men in the United States have experienced rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And 60% of American adults report experiencing abuse or other difficult family circumstances during childhood. We recognize that physical violence and sexual assault are not the only forms of abuse, nor are domestic violence or child abuse the only contexts in which abuse occurs. One can experience interpersonal trauma in many ways other than abuse, including divorce, having a loved one who is addicted, or the death of a loved one. Traumatic injury can also occur from systemic oppression and discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, and physical or mental impairment. These forms of institutionalized oppression, resulting in policy-driven inequities, further complicate and even become barriers to the healing process. Additionally, intergenerational or historical trauma can be at play, impacting us epigenetically, affecting how genes are read and switching genes on or off based on our experiences. Trauma is subjective, and it's safe to say that trauma is a fact of life for almost all of us. Trauma literally rewires the brain, and so it often leaves us with mental or physical illnesses, addictions, behavioral or relational problems, which can worsen and be passed on if left untreated. The trauma, mental health, and medical fields are not integrated, and therefore trauma is commonly overlooked as the root cause of many of the toughest problems our society faces. However, the ACE study shows us that trauma is nothing less than a public health crisis. The good news is that there is hope. Because of neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to reorganize itself, we know that with proper treatment, healing is possible. Trauma-focused treatment that engages the survival part of the brain, where the fight or flight response takes place, allows for the processing of trauma, as opposed to the more common talk therapy, which most mental health professionals are trained in, and often results in obtaining coping strategies rather than real healing. Healing Tree connects those who have suffered trauma with resources necessary for healing rather than coping, provides education to professionals across fields and the public at large that promotes awareness, effective intervention, and cutting-edge treatment, and produces and partners with relevant film, television, and theater, empowering the social change necessary to create a healing movement. Together, we can heal from abuse and trauma.
Hello, I'm Marissa Gavami, artist, advocate, creator, and the founder and CEO of Healing Tree. As an actor, you may know me as Celia in the feature film The Gift of Christmas, now streaming. And as a creator, I recently co-produced the feature film Mass, which is also a Healing Tree partner film, and which opened in theaters last night. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who is tuning in tonight to join us for our 6th annual, I cannot believe I'm saying that, Ungala, Stars Come Out to support Healing Tree. I also want to thank everyone who was a part of making tonight possible, including our incredible artist advocates who are here with us tonight. How about this lineup? And I want to give a special shout out to our unbelievably generous sponsors. We truly could not do our work without you. Not only will you get world-class entertainment from the comfort and safety of your home tonight, but you'll also learn about our programming that is not just relevant to people you may think of as victims of trauma, but that could transform your own life or the life of someone you love. See, at the heart of Healing Tree is the belief that trauma, on some end of the spectrum, is an unfortunate fact of life for virtually all of us, but that healing from it can transform not only our own lives, but our families, communities, culture, and ultimately, entire society. I founded Healing Tree 7 years ago with my mom and former therapist after discovering the need for it firsthand. Despite growing up with love, support, academic and artistic success, and plainly privilege, in my late adolescence, my life took a sharp turn. What started out as a beautiful, supportive, magical friendship with my first roommate out of high school turned into what I later learned was a type of abusive relationship called a one-on-one cult. I'll spare you the details of how this happened tonight. You can learn more about my story and why Healing Tree was founded on our website. But I will tell you that what began as the most fulfilling relationship I had ever had devolved ever so slowly, using multiple forms of abuse over nearly 2 years, into me being barely recognizable by the time I got out. My posture was hunched over, my eyes were sunken in, the color of my irises was actually darker, my hair was falling out, I was emaciated, I spoke about an octave higher than my normal range, and I couldn't even hold eye contact. Not to mention the fact that I was in a state of what's called 24-hour flashback, was suicidal, even hallucinated at times, and had seizures, which led to a sadly common, I learned, short-term misdiagnosis of epilepsy. What may be shocking to hear is that this type of abuse, and all abuse for that matter, can happen to anyone, based on how trauma impacts the survival part of our brain. If one lacks knowledge on harder to spot abusive tactics like love bombing, mirroring, gaslighting, blame shifting, projection, stonewalling, intermittent reward and punishment, and the resulting trauma bonding, they'll likely not be able to spot these more insidious forms of abuse and subsequent trauma until it's too late, and they're already being greatly harmed. These tactics can show up in various contexts, from cults to physical domestic violence, to child abuse, to educator misconduct, to workplace bullying, to the political realm. And it's important to note that abuse happens across all genders and sexual orientations, and that men can be victims too. Those suffering from abuse often carrying the shame their abusers try to put onto them. But it's important to consider that it may be some of our best traits that can make us vulnerable to abuse. If you've been abused, I want you to know that I believe it is not because you are weak, but rather because you have a strength that the abuser wishes they did. People who abuse others, outside of parent-child relationships, of course, rarely start out that way either. In fact, quite the opposite, until they've built trust and created a bond. As the saying goes, if you were to put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you put a frog in a pot of lukewarm water and slowly raise the temperature, it will boil alive. It's important to reiterate that while trauma may come from abuse, like I've been discussing, it can also come from instances like having a loved one who's addicted or mentally ill, surviving a natural disaster or war, or from systemic oppression and discrimination, which are horrific forms of abuse. And it's also important to note that our mental health and medical system's current approach to nearly all manifestations of trauma has largely not been integrated with what the trauma field knows and recommends. So, if you find yourself asking those who have survived abuse, or even just wondering on your own, why they stayed, or those who have suffered trauma, why they can't just get over it, I encourage you to instead consider asking why you haven't been taught about the science behind the symptoms. I ask you to consider why, sadly, even many mental health professionals, albeit extremely well-meaning, are simply largely undereducated on these topics, and why our society as a whole has failed to talk about these deeper truths of abuse and trauma. I ask you to consider why, as a system, we have failed to look for and properly treat the trauma underlying folks' mental and physical health concerns. Why, as a system, we have failed to make effective, brain-body-based treatment modalities the norm, which often leaves people simply coping for years, and without that treatment, the system simply profiting off of their illnesses. Thanks to my mother's fierce advocacy and tireless research, and the trauma specialist I worked with, I was given effective treatment for what I was suffering from. I received the proper diagnoses of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD, along with psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, or PNES. But in the wrong hands, my symptoms could have been labeled as any number of mental illnesses, and even physical illnesses, including personality disorders that are incurable. I primarily received eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR therapy, and sensory motor psychotherapy. And I also used my artistry, fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, and meditation to heal myself. Within 5 years of trauma-focused work, I had lost my diagnoses, was on no medication anymore, and to this day, over 7 years later, that has remained. Now, this doesn't mean that I do not have distressing events in my life that deeply impact me, or that I'm not on a journey of constantly deeper healing and evolving, but that my brain simply no longer responds how it used to. While I was still in treatment, however, I began noticing that everyone I knew who had experienced addiction, had a mental illness, or even a chronic physical illness, they had also told me some story of experiencing abuse and trauma, whether it was having a physically violent boyfriend, a mother who raged with verbal abuse, being assaulted, or being emotionally neglected as a child. Many of them didn't identify what they experienced as abuse, though, or believe that something that happened years or even decades ago could be contributing to what they were dealing with now. If we broke our leg at 10 years old, though, and never put a cast on it, it would be no wonder why we were still limping at 20, 30, 40, 50, 80. Furthermore, when these folks sought care, they were being told that they simply had genetic predispositions and chemical imbalances and would have to manage their conditions and learn to cope for life, leaving them without the hopeful knowledge of neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to rewire itself into adulthood, or of epigenetics, how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your very genes work. I was told the affirming truth that my symptoms were about what had happened to me, not what was wrong with me, and that I was having a normal response to an abnormal circumstance. I learned that this disparity was due to the fact that the vast majority of albeit very well-meaning mental health professionals were simply not trained in school to learn and to look for the trauma underneath their clients' symptoms, and that the DSM-5, the manual used to diagnose mental illness, doesn't recognize what the trauma experts know, that trauma contributes to almost every diagnosis in the book. I learned that even when therapists do recognize this underlying trauma coming from these various occurrences, an estimated 90% of them aren't trained in treatment modalities that actually engage the part of the brain that's injured during trauma. So that would be like having a back injury and doing physical therapy, but only on your leg. If we want to effectively address so much of what we struggle with as individuals, couples, families, communities, and society at large, we must pull trauma, the root issue, out from under the rug. Had I not had the support, resources, and privilege I did, I firmly believe I would have ended up suffering from repeated horrific abusive relationships, lifelong mental and physical illness, addiction, houselessness, or most likely, dead by suicide. Through my healing journey, I discovered something wrong in our system that I simply could not turn my back on. So I desperately wanted to volunteer with an organization that wasn't just reducing mental illness stigma, but that was advocating healing from it. That wasn't just giving trauma-focused treatment in their area, but that was making it the new normal for everyone. That wasn't just focused on one area, like domestic violence, but on the thing that various types of abuse and other horrible life circumstances have in common, the underlying trauma. And I wanted there to be recognition that we must make trauma healing equitable by tackling systemic oppression and discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, and physical or mental impairment, by recognizing that these prejudices are a source of abuse and trauma. And I wanted to use the arts to change our culture so that the public health crisis of trauma would finally get the attention it deserves and so desperately needs in order to heal our society. When I couldn't find that organization, I founded Healing Tree, the first national nonprofit with trauma itself at the forefront, with the belief that every person deserves to be able to move towards healing, whether or not they have the resources or support readily available to them. You'll be hearing about the various ways in which we achieve our mission throughout the night. If you believe in our vision of making healing from abuse and trauma, rather than coping with the symptoms, the new normal, effectively addressing the root of society's toughest problems, I humbly ask you to give generously tonight. We simply cannot continue our life-saving and transforming work without you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikenji, and I am an artist advocate for Healing Tree. I am so honored to be a part of this amazing virtual gala. I'm currently going to be returning to Broadway as the role of the Moon in Caroline or Change at Studio 54 at the Roundabout Theater. So if you are in New York, or if you're not in New York, make sure you fly over and get your tickets, because we'll be playing starting in October and going until the end of January. I'm also going to be doing the Holiday Pops with the Seattle Symphony. I'm so excited. It's going to be my debut there in December. So I hope those West Coasters, you'll be able to catch me there. And then of course, during the springtime, I'll be doing a Whitney Houston tribute concert at the Jacksonville Symphony. So I am so thrilled to be here. And I think this is the 5th time that I've been a part of Healing Tree Gala. So thank you so much for your generosity. Please donate generously tonight, because if you are able, anything counts. A dime, $5, $15, $20,000, all right? We just appreciate anything that you can give to Healing Tree. And check out the items that we have online for the auction. They're wonderful things. Your dollars go directly towards supporting the programming at the heart of Healing Tree's mission. We are here to spread hope, to let you all know that treatment is possible. Living a full life is possible. And so, we love to do Riding High by Cole Porter. Life's great, life's grand, future all planned, no more clouds in the sky. How am I riding? I'm riding high. Someone I love, mad for my love. So long, Jonah, goodbye. How am I riding? I'm riding high. Floating on a starlit ceiling, doting on the clothes I'm dealing, doting because I'm feeling so happy. I'm slap happy. Some ring bells sing song, the Lord's beat guns. Our love never will die. How am I riding? I'm riding high. Sweet, yeah. How am I riding? I'm riding high. Floating on a starlit ceiling, doting on the cars I'm dealing, gloating because I'm feeling so happy. I'm slap happy. So ring bells, sing songs, flowers, beat guns. Our love never will die. How am I riding? How am I riding? How am I riding? I'm riding high. Thank you so much. Your support helps us empower those who are suffering from trauma. From all of us on the Healing Tree team, we believe in your ability to overcome whatever you may be struggling with. And this is Be a Lion from The Wiz. There is a place we'll go where there is mostly quiet, flowers and butterflies, a rainbow lives beside it. But I'm still and then the mighty roar will start the sky to cry, but not even lightning will be frightening my lion. And with no fear inside, no need to run, no need to hide, you're standing strong and tall. You're the bravest of them all. If on courage you must fall, then just keep on trying and trying and trying. You're a lion, and you run away. Be a lion. Thank you so much. I just want to thank our generous sponsors. We have Poison Fruit Productions, Meteora, Aetna, Humana, Emergence Law, the Institute of Creative Mindfulness, MJ Kinman Textile Artists, Ann Coffey and Julie Vale Jones, and Jessica Mastro. Thank you all for having me. I hope you all enjoyed the rest of this evening. Thank you all. Thank you for Healing Tree. Again, I'm Mackenzie.
Hi, I'm Dana Aliyah Levinson, and I'm an artist advocate for Healing Tree. You may know me as Tony Reichener in American Gods on Stars. As this is our second year hosting our annual gala virtually, I wanted to take a moment to address the elephant in the virtual room, the overwhelming trauma of the ongoing global pandemic. Firstly, to the essential and healthcare workers watching, we truly thank you for all you have done for us. According to KFF, during the pandemic, about 4 in 10 adults in the US have reported symptoms of anxiety or depressive disorder, up from 1 in 10 adults who reported these symptoms in 2019. A KFF health tracking poll found that many adults are reporting difficulty sleeping, 36%, or eating, 32%, increases in alcohol consumption or substance use, 12%, and worsening chronic conditions, 12%, due to worry and stress over the coronavirus. If you have found yourself increasingly struggling over the past year, you are not alone. Additionally, according to a Time article published earlier this year, we cannot overlook that domestic violence is a pandemic within the COVID-19 pandemic. Growing evidence shows the pandemic has made intimate partner violence more common and often more severe. COVID doesn't make an abuser, says Jackie Mulveen, but COVID exacerbates it. As with so many things, communities of color are affected more severely, with systemic inequities often meaning lower income and less access to social and private services. While 1 in 3 white women report having experienced domestic violence during the pandemic, the rates of abuse increased dramatically to about 50% and higher for those marginalized by race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, citizenship status, and cognitive and physical ability, says Erica Sussman. Not only have Black Americans been harder hit by the various aspects of the pandemic, but they have also dealt with the continued trauma of systemic racism in all of its forms, and have had to witness images of police brutality in the news at unprecedented rates. In line with the increase of domestic violence, the Associated Press reported that the pandemic is masking the ongoing child abuse crisis. With many children out of the public eye, the U.S. system of relying on teachers, police, and doctors to report potential abuse and neglect to Child Protective Services has been failing, increasing risks for the most vulnerable of families in the U.S. Lastly, artists, especially theater performers and workers, have been hard hit, given that their jobs depend on being able to gather large groups safely in person. Despite the fact that so many have turned to the arts for comfort during these troubling times, Healing Tree's work is more relevant than ever as our society experiences the increase in abuse and trauma that the pandemic has caused. Since the pandemic began, in addition to keeping up and adapting our regular programs, during physical distancing, we hosted weekly live events on social media, which included a group check-in, meditation, mental health tips, and special guests, amplifying Black voices and fostering community and wellness. We held a fundraiser to benefit the Therapists of Color Collaborative, sponsoring BIPOC therapists to provide trauma-sensitive mental health services to BIPOC clients in need who have been impacted by acts of abuse and violence. We have worked alongside our partners, like Face It, a movement to end child abuse, and formed new partnerships with organizations such as the National Queer Theater, which believes in the power of theater to effect sweeping social change, and Ring of Keys, which fosters community and visibility of self-identifying queer women and transgender and gender non-conforming musical theater artists, on stage and off, in order to ensure that trauma-focused resources are available to those most vulnerable. The pandemic has also, of course, greatly impacted small nonprofit organizations like Healing Tree. So we humbly ask that if you are able to give, to please do so tonight in order to help us make it through another year and deliver our life-saving programming to those who need it most. No amount is too small, and even just spreading the word about who we are and what we do so that those who may benefit from our work can access it truly makes a difference. Thank you for being here.
Hey everyone, I'm Taylor Perdue. I'm a Healing Tree artist advocate. I'm also the writer, director, and one of the composers of Killian and the Comeback Kids, which is a bit of a folk rock movie musical that's out in theaters right now. So over the course of the pandemic, I found myself really grateful to be a guest on Healing Tree Live. And one of the things that I love about Healing Tree is that the work is, it's so relevant. Healing trauma relates to everyone on some end of the spectrum, and especially right now. One of the areas that so many of us connect with, though, is the need to heal from relationship hurt and the desire to try to form healthy and less than hurtful relationships. Trauma bonding or loyalty to a person who is destructive to you is incredibly common and yet really difficult to recognize in your own life. In other words, you can feel very attracted to someone who, isn't very healthy for you. But understanding our underlying trauma can allow us to enjoy healthy attractions and form relationships with people who treat us the way that we deserve to be treated. And Healing Tree provides a variety of resources for those suffering from that sort of pain and toxic abusive relationships, including the free approved care network, which you'll hear about just a little bit later on tonight. And we also provide empowerment to identify and prevent cycles of abuse through the silk screenings and the attached workshops, which you'll also hear about in just a second. But first, remember that all the money raised tonight helps Healing Tree continue our mission so that we can help make healing from abuse and trauma, rather than just coping with the symptoms, a reality for more and more people. So please donate as generously as you can. And bid in the auction. There's great stuff in there tonight, but one way or the other, we honestly could not do this work without you. And literally every dollar that is raised tonight goes to making that vision and that mission a little bit more of a reality. But before I go, I wanted to play a song that I'd written for the film that initially was just gonna fit into the plot line, but maybe like a year ago, kind of in the midst of doing the Healing Tree live sessions, I started to hear it differently, and it really, the pieces about it started to feel more and more reminiscent of the sense of moving past either a trauma or trying to move past just a subpar relationship. And I hope that some of that resonates with you all tonight. Joining me is Carly Jordan, who is on the soundtrack and touring around with us as the film expands to more and more locations. Thanks so much, everyone. I know that you're long gone, the days have flown away, but by the break of dawn's first ray, I can see why you did stay.
You and me to be happy, our paths would have to cross. Day you went too far from me, and our way on back was lost.
Now the road has come and gone, the pavements turned to mud. We'll not now find our way home, weightless in the flood. We're thinking about the way it changed, how it'll never let us find our place, and all the others trapped here, sinking in the mud. And all the pilgrims trapped here, weightless in the flood. There's nowhere to go on this mighty road. There's nowhere near back to you. There's nowhere to go on this muddy road. There's nowhere near back to you. Where did you go? Yeah, where'd you go? I cannot seem to find you. Where did you go? Yeah, where'd you go? I cannot seem to find you. Now the road has come and gone. The pavements turn to mud. We'll not now find our way home. Weightless in the flood. Thanks, guys.
Hi, I'm Charles Baker, and I'm a Healing Tree artist advocate. You may know me as Skinny Pete from the hit show Breaking Bad. Thanks for being here. The Adverse Childhood Experiences, or ACE study, shows that childhood trauma is often the root cause of later in life mental and physical illness, addiction, and other leading causes of dysfunction. Traditional treatment modalities like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or talk therapy, don't engage the part of the brain that is injured during trauma, leaving those suffering left to cope rather than heal. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, is a leading evidence-based brain-body focused trauma treatment modality recommended by the World Health Organization, American Psychological Association, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices. It is highly effective in ways that talk therapy can't be because it engages the survival part of the brain. It allows for reprocessing trauma rather than simply managing it. Yet many clinicians are not yet trained in EMDR therapy due to the trauma and mental health fields not being integrated and it being cost prohibitive. This is especially true for clinicians outside of private practice who serve those in great need, which leaves the most marginalized populations without this quality of care. Healing Tree facilitates 52-hour trainings, including post-training supervision in this unbelievably efficient modality. Our trainings are done by an internationally recognized training team led by Amber Stiles Bodnar, a senior faculty member, trainer, and approved consultant with the Institute for Creative Mindfulness. We currently provide these trainings for therapists working at social services agencies, serving children in the foster system, 95% of whom are below the poverty level. Our EMDR therapy training program ensures that the children in the foster system who have suffered unimaginable trauma have access to trauma-focused treatment, going beyond treating just their symptoms and addressing the root issue of their trauma, which helps them break cycles of abuse, poverty, and poor mental and physical health. Now, we are beyond grateful to our longtime sponsor, FACEIT, and our newest sponsor, Aetna, for making more of these trainings possible. But we still have a long wait list, and that's where you come in. Our program has seen record-breaking results due to the generous donors such as yourself. We have currently provided over 4,000 youth in the foster care system EMDR therapy. We've already seen a reduction in their hospital bills, medication, and self-harm, and because of this, some don't even qualify for their same level of care anymore. Your gift will have a similar impact on individuals needing trauma-focused therapy, transforming their lives, families, communities, and ultimately our society. Now, I wanted to share a few testimonials with you so that you can get a small glimpse of what our EMDR therapy training program provides. One therapist said, "This training was incredible. It was such an amazing experience witnessing firsthand how EMDR creates space for healing and hope EMDR is equivalent to the cure for emotional cancer. Another said EMDR therapy training completely changed the mindset on how to treat our traumatized youth. My teens are making progress so much quicker than previous trauma treatments. We're no longer taking meds for nightmares relating to PTSD. I cannot say enough great things about EMDR and the trainers. And yet another said, it often takes years for clients in therapy to make significant progress. EMDR makes it possible for even our most traumatized clients to return to their pre-trauma level of functioning. I'm grateful that thanks to Healing Tree, I'm able to provide this relief to my clients. Due to COVID-19, we are facing an unprecedented mental health crisis. Healing Tree makes it possible for those who are struggling to find the relief they so desperately need. Please consider giving what you can on behalf of this worthy cause. So please donate and bid in our auction as generously as you are able to. This life-transforming and life-saving work simply cannot be possible without you. And please contact Healing Tree at info@healingtreenonprofit.org to discuss training for your organization. Our trainings are available for clinicians serving any community anywhere in the country with groups as small as 10. So thank you so much for your support and for being here tonight. Have fun.
Before we were even.
Stop.
Sometimes I tell you, you're never.
I miss you so much. I wish you were here.
I love you.
Hi, I'm Puya Mohseni, and I'm a Healing Tree Artist Advocate. You may know me as Judge Namazi from Law & Order SVU. An estimated 90% of mental health professionals are not trained to heal trauma, despite trauma being a fact of life for so many of us and the underlying reason we seek mental health care in the first place. It can be discouraging when we've been stuck in endless talk and drug therapy, struggling to manage mental illness, addictions, physical illness, or relational issues for years. But it's not our fault that we haven't received treatment that engages the part of the brain where trauma injures us. If you've been listening to what's been shared so far this evening and are thinking to yourself, maybe I or someone I love could really benefit from this type of brain-body-based therapy, I'd like to share about a program of ours that makes finding trauma-focused treatment so much easier. Healing Tree's Approved Care Network supports individuals suffering from trauma to get the help that they need to heal rather than cope. Healing Tree provides a free nationwide directory of trauma-focused mental health providers. We work to connect individuals with providers who are not only brain-body-based trauma experts, but who also fit their unique needs, like being a therapist of color, a queer therapist, a therapist of a certain gender, or a faith-based therapist who takes their insurance or offers sliding scale. We include providers trained in various leading brain-body-based modalities. For example, EMDR, somatic experiencing, sensory motor psychotherapy, and brain spotting, who have been personally vetted with phone interviews by our team and whose certificates in these modalities are on file. We also include treatment facilities, creative artists, therapists, and more. Our approved care network, or ACN, is like no other. This service continues to be free for both individuals and clinicians. We provide these services nationwide. Therefore, everyone has access to our program, even you. As one testimonial said, "You have made it possible for me to begin living again. I was so devastatingly traumatized that I attempted suicide. After Healing Tree set me up with proper counseling, they enabled me to go from completely bedridden, agoraphobic, and suicidal to attending a large family party, dressed up and enjoying it. It would never have been possible without your priceless help. I owe an eternal debt." Another says, "I wanted real help that I was not getting from 3.5 years of ongoing regular visits to a psychiatrist, a neuropsychologist, 2 neurologists, 2 pain management doctors, as well as 3 inpatient mental health hospital stays during that time. Healing Tree gave me resources, facilities, books, trauma expert doctors' names near where I live. They were an encyclopedia of trauma and recovery from trauma knowledge. Healing Tree gave me hope. Hope not to see suicide as my only way out of this nightmare of mind and body torment. I now am convinced that I will win this battle in my mind and body with their help and direction. That is priceless and life-saving in my case." If you're looking to join our network as a therapist, or you're looking to find a therapist in your area, visit our website at healingtreenonprofit.org/ACN. With proper treatment, healing is possible. We're asking you to donate right now if you're able, and bid generously in our auction so that more people can continue to access this free and life-saving service. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Theodosia writes me a letter every day. I'm keeping the bed warm while her husband is away. He's on the British side in Georgia. He's trying to keep the colonies in line. Well, he can keep all of Georgia. Theodosia, she's mine. Love doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes it, it takes it, it takes it. We keep loving anyway. We laugh and we cry and we break and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm by her side when so many have tried, then I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. My grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher. But there are things that the homilies and hymns won't teach her. My mother was a genius. My father commanded respect. When they died, they left no instructions, just a legacy to protect. Death doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes it, it takes it, it takes it. We keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm still alive when everyone who loves me has died, I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. I'm the one thing in life I can control. I'm the immutable, I'm the original. I'm not falling behind or running late. I'm not standing still, I am lighting way. Hamilton faces and endless occupied. He has something to prove, he has nothing to lose. Hamilton's pace is relentless, he wastes no time. doesn't hesitate. He exhibits no restraint. He takes and he takes and he takes, and he keeps winning anyway. He changes the game, plays and he raises the stakes, and if there's a reason he seems to thrive, and so few survive, and goddammit, I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes. We rise and we fall. There's a reason I'm still alive, and so many have died, and I'm willing to wait for it. 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 Wait. Good evening. I'm Taylor Anthony Miller. I'm a Healing Tree artist advocate. I'm also an actor. I play Kelly Moran on CBS's FBI. You've been hearing about some of Healing Tree's core programming tonight, such as our Approved Care Network and EMDR therapy training. I'd love to share with you about another key piece of Healing Tree's unique approach, the arts. While we firmly believe in the importance of trauma-focused resources and education, we know that real systemic shifts often occur from public awareness and social change. What better way to spread that awareness than by opening hearts and minds through the arts? Utilizing art as advocacy is just so beneficial because storytelling impacts us in ways that statistics and data alone cannot. We recognize our own lived experience through that of a character's. We're more likely to take action and create change in our own lives and in the world around us because our realization happens viscerally. The arts can affect people in such a profound way. It's different than anything else. It sparks conversations around often undiscussed topics like emotional abuse and shows that healing is possible in a way that many of us have never seen before and in a way that advances our culture. Take the groundbreaking TV shows that first centered on queer characters or depicted women running for office. Storytelling can entertain while offering new perspectives in a palatable way. You'll be hearing about some of the arts projects we have already produced and partnered with shortly. I want to share about a piece that we have in the works that your donations tonight will help support. Written by Jessica Mastro, directed by Ella Jane New, and starring Breaking Bad's Charles Baker, who's with us tonight, we have a micro short film in development on adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. The CDC Kaiser Permanente ACE study is one of the largest investigations of childhood abuse, neglect, and household challenges, and how they affect later life health and well-being. As the number of ACEs increases, so does the risk for negative outcomes, ranging from suicide to alcohol and drug abuse to even cancer. Adverse childhood experiences can cast dark shadows on our mental and physical health, but with proper recognition and treatment, we can shine a light of healing for those traumatized by these experiences. Our plan is to utilize the medium of film to depict the impact of ACEs, encouraging and assisting professionals and the public alike to screen for how ACEs may be impacting their clients and their own lives so that proper treatment can occur. Please remember to check out our auction and bid and donate generously. Your donor dollars support this much needed project and other arts programming at the heart of our mission. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight, as well as all of our sponsors for making this night and our work throughout the year possible. Poison Fruit Productions, Meteora, Aetna, Humana, Amber Stiles Bodner Consulting, Emergence Law, the Institute for Creative Mindfulness, MJ Kinman Textile Artist, Ann Coffey and Julie Val Jones, and Jessica Mastro. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kristen Marie Jackson, and I'm an artist advocate for Healing Tree. You may know me from The Greatest Showman or Silk. You just heard about how important producing and partnering with the arts are to Healing Tree's mission. One of our major productions is our short film Silk, which we shot before the pandemic. Silk is a nod to the classic film Gaslight. It follows the story of a gifted aerialist, played by me, who struggles to recognize that she's being gaslit by her new boyfriend. It was directed by John Magaro, whom you may know as an actor from The Many Saints of Newark, The Umbrella Academy, Carol, and The Big Short. It features a diverse cast of well-known actors and was shot by a crew of 75% women, many of whom are queer and BIPOC. Silk has been screening virtually at high schools, colleges, and community organizations, along with accompanying workshops on the most insidious red flags of abuse and trauma. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Love is Respect, psychological abuse is a stronger predictor of PTSD than physical abuse among women, and women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. 95% of men who physically abuse their partners also psychologically abuse them, and nearly half of women and men have experienced at least one psychologically aggressive behavior by an intimate partner. It is so important that we talk about this often undiscussed topic, and what better way to engage with folks than through art? After a recent Silk screening and workshop, one student said, "I'm learning that what I experienced is real, and I am not alone." And it's not just connecting with those on the receiving end of abuse tactics. At another recent screening and workshop for a social service agency, a staff member said, "It made me think more about how defensively I respond to mistakes or comments others make. I need to be more cognizant not to blame shift or project." Silk is also currently being entered into film festivals. Be sure to follow Silk on social media to stay tuned for information on when it will be available to the public. Here's a sneak peek. So you might have to make some compromises. Technical compromises for safety reasons.
No worries. You'll find your light. Or the light will find you.
It's been a while since I've talked to a man who, gets it.
Sounds smooth.
I hope he's not too smooth. That new special you added, it blinds me coming out of the spin.
Okay. It's in your head.
I don't like this guy for you. You're telling him you don't feel safe up there and he's getting all defensive.
You're looking for something to blame your nerves on.
I need to be able to see.
You know, you should read this book. It's all about shedding the ego.
Hey. Look at you. You're scared of your own shadow.
If you understand the impact of emotional and psychological abuse and want to support our short film and accompanying workshop being shared at schools and organizations across the country, please donate right now and bid in our auction. If you're interested in hosting a screening at your school or organization, please email us at info@healingtreenonprofit.org. Thanks for supporting Healing Tree and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Hi, Krista. And hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Fran Kranz. I am an artist advocate for Healing Tree, and I am proud and honored to be here at Healing Tree's 6th annual Ungala. I starred opposite the amazing Krista Marie Jackson in Healing Tree's short film Silk, which you all just heard about. But what I really love about this organization is that they not only produce their own art, but they partner with projects that also promote healing movement and inspire and empower social change. I think it's amazing. And my first film, my only film, Mass, was one of those lucky projects. I wrote, directed, and produced the feature along with Healing Tree founder Marissa Gavami, who is also a producer on the project. It had its premiere this year at the Sundance Film Festival, and it came out in theaters last night. But you all knew that, didn't you? Because you were there, right? Right? Okay. Sorry. In all seriousness, I do not know where this film would be or what it would be without the incredible hard work and help and passion of Marissa. So thank you, Marissa, from the bottom of my heart. Now, the story Mass follows two sets of parents who meet years after a tragedy changed their lives. These four characters have experienced unimaginable loss, but they agree to meet on the faith that they might find some healing by doing so. The movie is about pain, but it's also about how we persist through pain, how we survive, how we repair ourselves. It is without any doubt about trauma and how we live with trauma. So Healing Tree has been an amazing and fitting partner. And I'm so proud to work with them on this. So I strongly encourage you to go out and safely watch Mass in a theater near you. And now it's my great pleasure to say, here's a look at our trailer. Thanks.
How many people are coming?
There'll be 4 of them. Richard, Linda, this is Jay and Gail Perry.
Thank you for agreeing to meet us.
You're welcome. I'm gonna leave you alone. Let me know if you need anything. You say you want to heal. Is this how?
We're not here to attack you. And we promise that. We want to know how this happened. We need your help with that.
I'm willing to help.
When you talk about blame on your part, I want to know what you're referring to.
It's very hard to answer.
Well, please try.
It's not just one thing.
Tell me about your son.
What would you like to know?
Everything. I want to know everything.
Why?
Why do I want to know about your son? Because he killed mine.
It's not our fault, Richard.
Hi everyone. Like they said, my name is Mia Tretta, and I'm so thankful that Healing Tree allowed me to speak today at the Ungala. The movie trailer you just watched is about families who went through gun violence. For many of you, that's a crazy reality that you can barely imagine. But for a small group, it's a harsh reality. On November 14th, 2019, I was a freshman at Saugus High School in Southern California. I was hanging out with my friends in the quad of my high school like I did every day, and we were anxiously talking about our Spanish test later and the school dance that was the next day. Suddenly, our conversations were cut short by a large bang. The next bang came and I was on the ground. The quad that was always full of people was suddenly empty. For a moment, I thought it was a very real simulation. I was able to get myself up and across campus to my Spanish teacher's classroom. And there I learned it wasn't a simulation and it was very real, and I was shot. I was transported to the hospital, and there I learned I was shot in the lower abdomen by a .45 caliber ghost gun. My best friend was also shot, and he was killed. His name was Dominic, and he was 14 years old. While my physical scar will eventually heal, the scar of losing my best friend and my childhood will take much, much longer. It's been almost 2 years, and those 2 years have been full of physical and emotional healing. I can definitely say I've tried it all. From somatic therapy, EDMR, art therapy, pet therapy, and normotherapy, I definitely know the importance of mental health. Well, Jan, who helped your mom with your divorce, might be great. She's not the same person who can help you with crazy PTSD symptoms. And it's so important that people have this training. And that's why it's so amazing that places like Healing Tree are able to give you those resources for proper therapy. Each one of you listening today can also make a tremendous impact. First of all, I'd like to say how important it is to vote gun sense. Gun violence affects people every day, whether it's gun suicide, gang-related violence, domestic violence, or in my case, a school shooting. It is crazy, and we need to vote for better gun laws. Secondly, get involved. I know sometimes it's hard to see the work that you've been making and how it's been making a mark. But just because you aren't speaking at Congress doesn't mean you aren't making a difference. Every call, every text, every retweet, everything is advocating towards change, no matter the topic. Last, I'd like to thank you all for listening, and a thank you to Healing Tree for letting me speak today and doing so much great work. With better mental health resources and better gun laws, we can make it a safer world. You have a voice. Now be the change. Thank you.
Hi, Mia. Thank you for your beautiful presence. Hearing your honest testimony is so inspiring. It's truly an honor to be up here with you and with everyone sharing this evening. Telling stories like these are necessary, but I know it's not easy. Hi, everyone. I'm Rendara Santiago, and I'm a Healing Tree Artist Advocate. I'm a writer. I would have had my off-Broadway debut with Siblings Play on March 18, 2020 at Rattlesnake Playwrights Theater. Also the writer of a new television series that will be on Showtime called Let the Right One In. But I'll tell you about the Siblings Play. So it centers a multiracial working class family in Harlem at the dawn of the siblings reckoning with the trauma cycles of neglected adult children raising children. And the play takes place in an era before mental health awareness was really accessible, before it was trending on social media. So this family had no language for the symptoms they experienced in relation to PTSD, and certainly not any access to means of healing. So I wrote this play with that sort of effort in mind for people to seek out ways of healing. And so Healing Tree became a community partner on the production, and Healing Tree's founder, my beautiful friend Marissa Gavami, led a community conversation after one of the performances in order to educate the audience on the impact of trauma and provide resources for healing if they related to any of the experiences illustrated in the piece, which they definitely did. Every night it was a truly such a beautiful thing that we could offer was this resource. And I'm very excited to share with you some more programming that we have here at Healing Tree. So not only does Healing Tree partner with arts projects like Mass and the Siblings Play through specific collaborations suited towards each project, but Healing Tree also has fiscal sponsorships available. Fiscal sponsorships allow projects that fit in with our mission to receive the tax benefits of operating under a 501c3 nonprofit. So it gives you the ability to offer your donors a tax deduction for their generosity, which can encompass gifts in monetary form through equipment, locations, and more. If you're creating a film, play, or a TV show that you think may be a good fit to partner with and or be fiscally sponsored by Healing Tree, please contact us at info@healingtreenonprofit.org. Additionally, we're introducing trauma consulting for the arts. So consider requesting Healing Tree's new trauma consulting program to help you make your theater, film, or TV script more trauma-informed and accurate in regards to dealing with any matters concerning mental health. So it's important to provide the most accurate and human portrayals of complex topics in order to decrease stigma and pave the way for change. So Stephanie Mangan on our team has over a decade of experience as a mental health therapist, as a licensed professional clinical counselor. Her areas of expertise include substance use and abuse, mood disorders, attachment disorders, bereavement, adjustment disorders, chronic mental illness, personality disorders, depression and anxiety, complex PTSD, trauma, foster care and adoptive children, and their caregivers, and ADHD. Her trainings and modalities include EMDR, TFCBT, DBT, IFS, and many more. So if you're interested in potentially having Stephanie consult on your arts project, please email traumaconsulting@healingtreenonprofit.org. Entertainment helps shape our culture, and we have the power to help shape it for the good. And if you understand the importance of using art as advocacy and trauma-informed storytelling and want to continue, help us continue our support and help us continue creating this transformative work, please donate right now and bid in our auction. We simply cannot do it without you. We thank you for your generosity and for sharing your evening with us.
Hey there, I'm Kevin Kilner, and I am a Healing Tree Artist Advocate. You may know me from movies such as Home Alone 3, Raising Helen, A Cinderella Story, American Pie 2, Smart House, or from most recently from a few episodes of the new series Dynasty on the CW. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Healing Tree and all the wonderful contributions that you guys can make tonight. I was a part of Healing Tree's very, very first gala, and it has been amazing to watch this organization grow over the years, due in large part to the generosity of kind human beings such as yourselves. You've been hearing all about the ways in which Healing Tree transforms lives, and ultimately that means it transforms our society. If you believe in the power of healing, the root of the issue, in order to effectively break the cycles of abuse and trauma, then please help us continue to do our work by generously donating and bidding in our auction now. We cannot do this work without you. We just simply can't. By this point, you've probably checked out our online auction down below or on the side of your computer, and you may have your eye on a few items. I know that I do. And I'm here to tell you that now is the time to make your final bids. We're going to close this auction in the next 5 minutes. The auction will be closing shortly, if that wasn't clear. Check out the clock below and make sure that you get the items that you want. Now, I've been a part of this gala for many years, and I have to say I don't think that we have ever had an auction this incredible. And I'd like to highlight a few of our biggest items that you really don't want to miss out on. But remember, we have lots of smaller items available as well with lower price points, so you can see those as well. But to the larger items, first up is Nemi Eco Villa in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Spend an unforgettable 5 nights at Nemi Eco Villa, a chic 6-room, eco-friendly villa that sits cliffside overlooking the ocean with stunning sunset views located in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I was in Puerto Vallarta in May for 11 days shooting the new Apple Plus TV series called Acapulco that drops in November. And I'm telling you, it's the greatest sunsets I've ever seen night after night in the world, the best food, friendly people, and beautiful oceans. Included with the villa is a personal chef, personal bartender, maid service, lounge pool, private plunge pools in each room. Really? Free concierge service, and much more. Food and beverages are sold at cost with 0% upcharge. Sit back, relax, enjoy. NemiEcoVilla.com. 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 Accommodations are for 6 couples or 12 adults. Valid February 1 through September 31. Certificate must be used within 12 months, subject to availability. The donor stated value is $8,000. I mean, you could split that with 5 other couples or 11 other people or some combination, and it would be very, very reasonable. Now remember, I'm sharing our highest valued items here, our highest ticketed items, but we have various price points in the auction, from Onyx and Rose CBD products to Furry Brothers candles. There's something for everyone, okay? Second up, we have a Key West condo. What we have here is have a 1-week stay at a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, 2,500 square foot condo overlooking the Atlantic Ocean in sunny Key West. State-of-the-art electronic system and appliances, wrap-around balconies with competition-sized pool and jacuzzi. Reservations are subject to availability. It's a Sunday to Sunday stay, a 1-year expiration, and the estimated value is $4,000. Now look, this condo sleeps 3 couples. So you could split your bid with 2 other couples or some combination, or 5 adults. And it's very, very reasonable. And please be generous in your bidding. All the proceeds go to Healing Tree, and that supports our life-transforming and saving work. Third up is an English countryside home, English countryside cottage in Cornwall. A week stay in a 1-bedroom, 300-year-old English countryside cottage in Cornwall, England, nestled in a tranquil valley on 15 acres of privately owned meadows and woodland, and 1.6 miles from Perranporth Beach. This 1-bedroom cottage has beamed ceilings, exposed stone walls, and a log fireplace. Reservations are availability for 2022. The donor's stated value is $1,800. Now remember, check out the site for those smaller items. If these trips aren't for you. Fourth, we have a North Fork Hamptons, New York 3-bedroom apartment on Wells Homestead Farm. Come and stay on the weekend in a 3-bedroom guest apartment located on Wells Homestead Acres Farm, one of the oldest asparagus and sunflower farms located on the North Fork of Long Island. Surrounded by vineyards, beaches, and nature reserves, this northeastern peninsula farm apartment is just an hour and 30 minutes from New York City, but feels worlds away in the tranquil wine and farm country. It is beautiful out there. Reservation is subject to availability between May and September of 2022. Beautiful time of year to go. And the donor's stated value is $1,500. That's really reasonable. Fifth, we have a bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle, 10-year, 107 proof. Woohoo! Maybe you can bring it on one of those trips. This wonderful bourbon This wonderful bourbon is bottled as close to barrel proof as possible, okay? We add just a splash of our Kentucky limestone well water when we empty the barrels for bottling. Thus, this whiskey as smooth as you will find. And boy, is that true. Only available for hand delivery for our supporters in Louisville, Kentucky, due to alcohol shipping restrictions. And selling for over $1,000 across multiple sites due to limited supply. And you know this is a very limited supply. Look, keep your eye on the clock. Get those last minute bids in. We're minutes away. All right, I've been warning you, but now the auction is closed. Congratulations to our winning bidders. We are so grateful for your generous support. Thank you, and we will be emailing you. If you didn't get the winning bid on an auction item, and listen, even if you did, you can still contribute. Remember, we are a tax-exempt organization, and this event literally helps continue doing our work for one more year. As one woman said, and I've got to quote her because it's a powerful quote, I honestly don't think I would have made it through the first year of going on disability for complex PTSD without the help, support, and insight from Healing Tree. Thank you. I hope that those of you out there who want to make a difference in the lives of so many will help by supporting this incredible cause. So listen, please just keep those donations flowing throughout the rest of the evening and beyond. And now you're in for a real treat. My friend, Christina Bianco, is a world-renowned singer, actor, and impressionist who captured international acclaim with her impression-filled viral YouTube videos. She does incredible impressions, leading to appearances on popular TV programs such as The Ellen DeGeneres Show and The Today Show. Her New York credits, her stage credits include Forbidden Broadway in New York and the West End of London. And most recently, she starred as Fanny Bryce at the Theatre Marigny's celebrated production of Funny Girl in Paris. Really, Christina? Funny Girl in Paris? Sounds like a hard gig. Enjoy. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for your generosity.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina Bianco, a proud artist advocate for Healing Tree, and I'm so happy to be back for my third gala. Now, as you heard, I love to do impressions, so I promise I will do some for you shortly. But before I dive into the entertainment, let me say thank you. Thank you to all of you who've joined us tonight. Healing Tree is very close to my heart, and over this past difficult year, it's people like you who've helped keep this organization going. Now, obviously, we had hoped to have this year's gala in person, but here we are again. And once again, we ask for your support and your generosity to help Healing Tree continue their very important work. Now, you can still donate this evening and beyond. So if you're inspired while I'm singing my face off, or if you think fondly back on this gala sometime next week, please share whatever you can. No amount is too small, and all is appreciated. So now, I think it's time we celebrate you. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one roll from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep deep, 6 feet under screams, but no one seems to hear a thing. Don't you know that there's a chance for you? There's a spark in you. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make them go as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come and show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go as you leave 'em all in awe. You don't have to feel like a waste of space. You're original, cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds. After a hurricane comes the rainbow. Maybe a reason why all your doors are closed, so you can open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow, and when it's time you'll know. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come and show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go as you leave 'em all in awe. Boom, 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 even brighter than the moon. It's always been inside of you. Now it's time to let it through. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. Make 'em go as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go you're gonna leave 'em all in awe. I confess that's the first time I've ever sung that song in my own voice. I hope you liked it. Now, last year I talked about how I recently starred in Theatre Mariny's hit production of Funny Girl in Paris. This year, I clearly didn't do anything quite that fabulous, but I'm thrilled to announce that I will be starring in the upcoming UK tour of The Rise and Fall of Little Voice beginning March of 2022. I'm very excited. It's been a dream of mine for many, many years to play the role of LV, Little Voice. She's very shy, introverted, and soft-spoken, and I know you're thinking, how did she get this part? But LV's favorite thing to do is to listen to her late father's old records of classic musical divas, like Judy Garland, Edith Piaf, Shirley Bassey, Marilyn Monroe, to name a few. And she listens to them so often, she develops great impressions of all of these stars. And tonight, Healing Tree definitely deserves the star treatment, so with that in mind, and with an optimistic eye toward the future, here are two of my personal favorite divas singing a beautiful medley that brought them together back in 1976. Please welcome Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You've got to chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. Together, show it now. There's no one who can. No childhood now. Happy days are here again, we're heading across the river. Soon your cares will all be gone. There'll be no more from now on. From now on, happy days are here again. You've got to chase all your cares away. So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy times, happy nights, happy days are here again. Thank you again for joining us this evening. It is because of your support that Healing Tree has grown in all of the amazing ways you've heard about tonight. And with your continued support, it will grow even further, reaching more and more people around the world, helping them to heal from trauma, be fully and truly themselves, have no shame, and to find more joy. So, my friends and I would like to leave you with a classic song of acceptance and empowerment. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you and good night. Okay, Liza, it's a grand finale. We should definitely start with you. Are you sure about that, Christina? I mean, are they gonna like me? Yeah, I think they're gonna love you. Well, aren't you just terrific? She's great. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm serious. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. Isn't that right, Rama? Now tell them about it. So, come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to take a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can see. Hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a shame till you can shout, oh, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I do my own deck, sometimes the ace, sometimes the dose eyes. When life and there's no return and no deposit. When life show, it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey, I am what I am. Oh, my friends, it has been such a wonderful evening. We love you all so much. We thank you so much. And now, Christina would like to end this song with a personal favorite, Dame Shirley Bassey. If you're not and of course, with Queen Christina herself. Are you ready? Shall we do it?
What I am my own special creation. So come take a look, give me the hook for the aversion.
It's one life and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am.
Christina, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much once again to all of our incredible artist advocates for sharing your time and talents with us here tonight. And thank you again to everyone who tuned in, who shared, who bid in our auction, and who donated. Truly, truly, truly thank you. And once again to our amazingly generous sponsors. We are doing our work and achieving our mission because of all of you. I am just blown away by everyone's generosity tonight. Thank you on behalf of everyone at Healing Tree.
We hope you've had as wonderful of a time tonight as we have. Thank you again for being here and for your incredible generosity. We're blown away by your support. And we want to thank all of our amazing sponsors one more time. Poison Fruit Productions, Meteora, Aetna, Humana, Emergence Law, the Institute for Creative Mindfulness, MJ Kinman Textile Artist, Ann Coffey and Julie Van Jones, and Jessica Mastro. Thank you for making achieving our mission possible. If you or someone you love is in need of trauma-focused resources, please visit our website at healingtreenonprofit.org. And be sure to stay connected with us on social media. If you would like to collaborate with Healing Tree by bringing our EMDR therapy training or our silk screening and workshop to your organization, joining our approved care network as a clinician, having your project fiscally sponsored by us, having us partner with your arts organization or project, joining our team, or otherwise collaborating with us, please reach out at info@healingtreenonprofit.org. Together, we can heal abuse and trauma. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.